Doggone it. Just when you got an idea, you can't find the equipment. What the heck? No shovels. There's no shovels around here. No trowels, no digging utensils at all that I can work with, because I had this idea that with this film it would have been great to talk a little bit about grave digging. It's a vampire movie, so it worked real well. And likewise, what is it about certain institutions of higher education that don't have a cemetery of their own? Got to have a graveyard, right? I mean, what do? I mean, you got degrees in grave digging and stuff like that, and you get the certificate, right? And you take it to the mortuary guys and goes, I got a degree in grave digging. And they go, oh, we just been looking for you. Go back there, we got like 3 guys we got to put under, right? And so they're ready for that. And so how do they train these guys? I mean, probably virtually now, right? Give them an app, grave digging app. And it's like, it's like this, So you get this app like this. And it's like, okay, here's the hole, And it's like, okay, now you have to dig out. And you got, okay, dig, remove dirt, right? So you get this big pile of dirt. Then they have the cemetery type of thing, right? Where people come into the cemetery with their cars and stuff, and they put the body in there, and then they throw the stuff over the top of that, yeah. But we don't have that. Doggone it. So I guess I'm going to have to talk about the movie that we're going to be watching. It would be great to have some kind of a shovel on my shoulder. I kind of feel comfortable with a shovel on my shoulder. Makes me feel prepared. What if I get attacked, right? I got to dig a foxhole real quick. Shovel on my shoulder. I can do that, right? What if I get attacked too? I can use it as a weapon, right? Likewise, I can, if I want to take notes, I can write right on the shovel. See? And likewise, it's that time of year, gardening. I want to dig some stuff, put some plants in, so I got my shovel and things. So I'm not prepared to do much of anything except talk about a movie. The film we've got tonight, beautiful movie. I just sat down and watched it again yesterday. I've seen it many times. Vampire Bat, 1933. Spooky film. It's about a small German town that is somehow suffering from some kind of weird plague where people are popping off dead with these little holes in the side of their neck. And the Melvin Douglas, who plays the kind of like the head of the police type of guy, he doesn't believe what the town folk want to believe, that there's a vampire out there. And likewise, they're getting kind of attacked by these great big bats. And there's some great shots at the beginning of shadows of bats hanging in trees, and it's, spooky. Okay, let's talk about this movie a little bit, okay? Great black and white. People get upset when they're watching something black and white. I love it. Beautiful looking. In 33, remember, in that time period, this is right in the heart of some of the greatest horror films ever made for atmosphere. Dracula, Frankenstein, just a bunch of great stuff at that time. Frank Strayer directed the film, and it's for Majestic Pictures, so it is one of the Poverty Row studios. But don't let that bother you. Actually, that adds a quality. And Strayer, what if he probably had, while he was directing, he had a shovel on his shoulder for boy. He was like, hey, you messed up your line. Bang, so he could use a shovel like that. Hey, you messed them up again. I got a hole dug over here for you, buddy. Okay, so get them right. Okay, Frank Strayer. Hey, one film that we show on here, Monster Walks. You always wonder what a monster does? They walk. Right? They walk. He also did one, and I haven't seen this, Ghost Walks. Surprises me. No, I'm all down for the idea that a monster walks. What do? Walk. Ghost? They kind of float around, but this ghost walks. Likewise, Condemned to Live. Oh, that's a nice one. Condemned to Live. Remember that? A guy who thinks he's a vampire. He also did all of the Blobby films, Blondie films, and there's a whole pile of them. When I was looking at, the list kept going like this, and then the list was about that long of Blobby films. He also directed for TV the Stu Irwin Show. In the 50s there. And this is sort of near the end of his career and so on. I don't know if that killed him. I don't think so, right? Because he had the shovel, right? So he was in control of stuff. The film was written by Edward Lowe. And he wrote the original Hunchback of the Notre Dame. Wow. Or Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think it's Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's not of the Notre Dame. It's like, it's a football game all of a sudden. He wrote the screenplay for House of Dracula and House of Frankenstein. So there are houses in this film too. So it's sort of like a theme that runs through his career. It's like, I'll write a movie, but it's, can I put a house in it? And I go, sure. How many houses do you want? I think we see like maybe 3 or 4 houses in this. So it's a film of like 3 or 4 houses, right? As opposed to just House of Dracula or House of Frankenstein. It's just one house. Okay, so he was kind of petering out later on, but in the early days, he had a lot more houses that he could work with. The film stars some great guys. Lionel Atwill. Ooh, you can't go wrong with Lionel Atwill. And I was going through some of the stuff that he was in. Gosh, he was in House of Dracula too, so he probably heard that Lowe was making another one of those house type of based things, and he goes, I like the things with houses in them. Can I be in that? And he said, sure, you can be in that. He was in House of Frankenstein too. See, themes being developed here. He was in Lady in the Death House. Huh? Okay, things you discover, right? The house thing. See what Frankenstein meets Wolfman in a house. Yeah, you know that one. Okay. Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon House. He did that. Night Monster House. Yes, he did that. He did this one here. I just like the name. I'd like to be a Teutonic Gentleman. Is that about Eric von Stroheim or something like that? Or is it about earthquakes? Teutonic Plate Movement. Right, so we got that going on. Strange Case of Dr. X, or RX. Prescription? Dr. Prescription, maybe. I don't know. But see, when you go to the pharmacist, it's in a house. House-like structure. I'm being kind of flexible here with that kind of thing. Ghost of Frankenstein. Mad Doctor of Market Street. So house is on a street. So there's that house thing going on there. Man-Made Monster. He was in Charlie Chan's Murder Cruise. So it's got a boat. And that's sort of an equivalent to a house that's on water type of thing. He was in Charlie Chan in Panama. He was in, I'm just looking for more house stuff. He was in The Gorilla. We got The Gorilla. Hound of the Baskervilles. Captain Blood. Ooh, one of those great swashbuckler Errol Flynn things. He was in The Murder Man. Great name for something. Murder Man. Mark of the Vampire. Oh, Todd Browning thing. He was in Devil is a Woman. Yeah. The Man Who Reclaimed His Head. Yeah. He probably had to go in a house and get that, didn't he? Yeah. I wonder if he had a shovel. Lionel Atwill with a shovel? I'm trying to think. It kind of fits in. I'd like Lionel Atwill with a shovel there. Beggars in Ermine. Okay. And did we cover all the... Whoa, look at all these over here. Obsolete, Quiet, a whole bunch of... That's enough on that guy. Yeah, Lionel Atwill. And we're hoping he had a shovel. Some other people that are of importance in here is Fay Wray. Fay Wray. In 1932-33 is a big time for Fay Wray, right? Dr. X, King Kong. You know that film named King Kong. She made a ton of good stuff at that time. And of course, the Most Dangerous Game, right? And she did The Vampire Bat. Melvyn Douglas is in it. People don't think of Melvyn Douglas really with a shovel. But when I think of him, he could have a shovel, right? He was in that Mr. Blandings Builds a Dream House with Cary Grant. They built things. He was probably thinking about picking up a shovel or something like that when he walked by, and then he would be, yeah, he was in the old dark house right about that same period. House! Oh, the whole thing with House was run through here. And the last couple of films that he was in, Ghost Story and The Changeling, those are monster films as well. The real star in this film, Dwight Frye. He plays Herman Glebe, okay? Which is kind of glebe, glebe dirt, right? Glebe. He's kind of a slow-witted fellow who, interestingly, shows up when people are dying, you know. And he likes bats. He catches bats and he goes, oh, soft bat. And he puts the bat inside of his shirt like that. And then he carries it away. And he does it right in front of all the town people. He goes, vampire, you know, that's right there, vampire, right? They think he's a vampire. And he shows up when people are dead. So it's like, oh boy, not too wise, you know. Columbo would have him all framed up and things like that too, real quick, right? But he does a great job in this film. Dwight Frye, very often, of course, he plays these kind of crazy individuals, right, who lose their sanity. Here he didn't have any at the beginning, so he's right in his wheelhouse right here. Beautiful. Other films that he, of course, was in, Frankenstein, Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Crime of Dr. Crespi, and Frankenstein Meets Wolfman. Robert Fraser is I can't talk about what he does in this movie. And he doesn't carry a shovel, so it's a very small thing for him to do. But he was in White Zombie, and he was in Condemned to Live as well. Lionel Belmore is in this, and he plays the Burgermeister. You always have to have a Burgermeister in these films. He played the Burgermeister in Frankenstein, too. He was the one that came into, the Baron Frankenstein's living room and talked about, the wedding and stuff. And then the father says, you're an idiot, right? Go get a shovel and dig a grave and be in it. And then we'll bury you there. I think you're going to enjoy this movie. I really had a great time with it. I think I'm going to go out and find me a shovel. At least I can find me a little trowel or something like that and dig me a grave.